Good evening, and welcome to Nice and Blunt. I'm Adam Riancho, your host. It is almost 10 p.m., a little late night stream. Probably had to be in the notification gang in order to know, but we do have some guests already in the chat. Do I have the shit set up right now? Not 1 second. All right, let's bring him in. We got Green Bean in here. Nice little late night. How do you do? Definitely ready to draft. We got Hartman in here. What's up? Danimal, hell yeah. What we playing tonight? We're going to enter the pointer first things first. So this is the contest I think you want to be hopping into right now. The advanced structure is the best. The final is one of the smallest. And the payout, still not too bad. 40K up top. Let's try and get it. We can still get over $1,000 if we finish in the top 15 and even top 6, like 7,500. That's not too bad for 7th place. So let's get it going. I'm hopping in. I'm not going to give y'all a countdown. This one usually takes an extra minute to fill. So 4 people left. If you want it, come and get it. We are all set, ready to go, and this thing is full. Best of luck, everyone. Sorry to the folks that were in this lobby already and didn't know what they were getting into, but that's just what it is. We want to sneak up on some people not expecting it. So looks like Jackson Duffy made it in here. Good to see you. Yeah, we were in Jerry's stream in the chat earlier today, as well as Goofy Chicken earlier. Was kind of busy midday, so missed on Huhaim's stream, but did catch the Fanspeak Network. Best Ball Jeopardy was very, very entertaining tonight between our boy the Candyman and Justin Herzig. Came down to the wire. Really, really fun time. But what's up, your soothing sound? Love a super late night stream. Just won $500 on the Knicks. Took them down 24. Good money, man. Good job. What's up, Keith? How we doing? I see you at the 107. We also got Hartman in here at the 104. And then Montano Maida right next to me at pick 9. I think those are the 4 spots that were taken. So kudos to y'all. Good luck to everyone. I pulled the 110. I'm typically on the right side of the board. So at least it's not pick 8, pick 7 again. But I am kind of familiar with these streets in pick 10. But A-Rod, I said I took a rip, sat it down, and got the notification. Perfect timing. Quite perfect timing. As I like to say, divine timing. So good for you. I set this up last minute, and I noticed I did not have the bowl packed when the intro played. So I'm actually packing it right now that you mention it. And did I bring in the music? No, not yet. Let's get the music popping. Let's get it going. For the vibes. Definitely. Let's get it going. All right, so could go Jefferson here, but right now Taylor is falling. Not convinced that Taylor's actually the right pick. Jefferson is off the board, so Amon-Ra's still there. I have Amon-Ra over Taylor, so I'll do that. I'll take Amon-Ra at the 10th spot. I got a shit ton of Amon-Ra, but that's because he's an excellent pick. Definitely not upset with that. But you want to go Taylor there with some other good names on the board, be my guest. Maybe Taylor's the man, but in my personal rankings, I don't just have Cook over Taylor. I've been trying to pin them down a little bit more recently. My gut tells me I'd rather have Cook over Taylor, but I'd also rather have my boy Hampton as well. So I have if there's one start that I probably have a little too much of, it's an Amon-Ra, Omarion Hampton start, both in the powder blues. I guess the Lions are Honolulu blue, but very, very nice start. No issue with that in the top 2 rounds. What's up, A-Rod? How we doing? Good evening, Bukowski. Nice to see you. Caught you in Chad Candle's stream this morning. I woke up way too early, and I finally caught a live Chad Candle stream. Saw Bukowski in there, along with some other folks, other members of the fam. Yeah, good luck, Jackson. You're in at 12. Montano, what up? The Google Translate is giving me wow instead of what up. I don't know what language what up translates to wow, but Google Translate fucking with you. What's up, Green Bean? Just finished watching the Jeopardy stream. That was a good match. Yeah, really close. Candyman gave him a good run for his money. It came down to the last two options. I wanted sudden death. I kind of wanted sudden death, so I was kind of hoping that Herzig played for the tie, got that 200, and then the final question would decide it. But it was very appropriate that the final question was a Rico Dowdle. A Rico Dowdle correct answer. Spoiler alert. Sorry, but there was one element of that clue that really gave it away. The back-to-back 30-point games. How can you forget with Rico? But what's up, Chad? How we doing? You are not in this draft with us, but I have a feeling I might see you in the next one. Your Soothing's Hat Nice going to take a blink now. A blinker. What is the difference between a blink? Is that just it's got to be a vape because the button is blinking? Is that what qualifies a blinker? But is there also like a time requirement? Have y'all seen that guy on social media? You'll see him on like Instagram Reels or like TikToks, and he's playing like a round of golf with like randoms. Like he's paired up with some like random like 65-year-old couple, and he goes to the third, any par three. He asks them to record him, and so they take his phone, and he's like, "All right, this is day 75. I'm on the clock here. I'm gonna go Chris Olave. I don't mind Kyron, but Chris Olave falling 6 spots in this, I'm definitely fine with that. Yeah, actually 7 spots of ADP. 27.9, pick 34. I'll take him here. Not upset with the Saints wide receiver. But okay, back to the little tangent we're on. He asked someone to record him on a par 3. He's like, all right, this is day 64 of trying to be the first person ever in recorded history to nail a hole-in-one after ripping a blinker. He just takes like the fattest fucking rip possible and then proceeds to like cough his brains out. I'll go Tedero McMillan today. We'll have a really strong receiver room. I don't draft much Tet. Still kind of not sure he's worth this price, but fuck it. We'll do it. Anyways, yeah. You have to hit the pen until it blinks. So really a long rip of the electronic THC pen. A lot of people usually cough their lungs out. Yeah, this dude coughs like crazy. And like it looks like his eyes are about to pop out of his fucking socket. And then he just proceeds to, take a swing of the 7-iron or whatever he's wrecking. And every time he fails. He can never get it. But it's just for the shock factor. The person recording it is like either really into it or like really, really not. So it's a funny thing that pops up on my timeline every now and then. But yeah, gotta max it. I am not a vape man, so gotcha. That's kind of what I assumed, but I guess it varies depending on the vape you have. Some vapes might be a little longer than others. But aloha, Sladen, how we doing? Only halfway through Jeopardy, saving for after this. I don't think I told you who ended up winning, so at least I didn't spoil it. It's worth a watch for sure. St. Brown is worth the high exposure. Definitely. If there's a receiver late round 1, I'm happy to be overweight on. Give me Amon-Ra. With a little more confidence, Amon-Ra I actually have ranked above JSN. In my true, rankings, if I'm taking receiver at 5, I'm actually going Amon-Ra. But I think I'm still taking CMC over Amon-Ra. When you look at McCaffrey last year, his yards per carry were shit. And then he still averaged 20.5 points per game. He still had 2,000 plus yards from scrimmage. As long as CMC's healthy, CMC probably delivers. on a per game basis. But so far this team's a little different. Haven't gone like true anchor with Hampton in a minute, so I'm happy with that. Was hopeful that maybe in this draft I could get like a Baishal Tootin pick 58. With the news on Chris Rodriguez, I think you have to be a little more comfortable drafting Baishal Tootin right now. Who knows how expensive his price can get. I'm not excited about LaQuint Allen too much. So if C-Rod is a big problem, then Baishal Tootin in the 5th is probably worth our investment. But unfortunately, it looks like the value right here is going to be a receiver. Yeah. I suppose I go Jadarian Price. However, yeah, I'll just go Price. Lock it up. Get the RB2. Haven't drafted Price too much lately, especially not on the stream. So, kind of the last running back in the same tier. Might not have made it back to me at pick 63. So, I don't know if I will always tell you to draft Price over these receivers, but I think structurally, given who is still on the board, I'll go with Price. And almost took Tate instead of Price, so fuck it. Let's just grab him here, and I'm chilling with that. We got Hampton, Jadarian Price, solid. Price could have a slow start, not catch many passes, but solid option. And then receivers fucking loaded. Amon-Ra, Olave, Tet, and Carnell Tate. We are in business here. And I'm not totally convinced that Carnell Tate is, what is this, 2 full rounds worse than Tet. Carnell Tate versus Tedro McMillan, I think, is actually closer than some people think. But Slayton, just stay up for Chad's streams like the rest of us West Coast Psychos. No, I can't stay up until 5 a.m. On occasion, I got to wake up early for work and shit. So I'll let the Lord decide when I catch a Chad Candle stream. Let it happen organically, not force it with sleep deprivation. But the best part of this stream is you could spoil anything you wanted and we'd still forget halfway through. Yeah. Yeah, I could definitely see that. Am I crazy for fading Rehab Puka? Depends on how much, but I think I'm still taking him at least 8%. I think I'm still probably grabbing Puka at the 104. It's not as fun, but to get weird at the 104 feels a little less appetizing than to get weird at the 105. To tell me that JSN is going to be just as good as last year, a little hard to believe. I think it's more justified to get weird at pick 5. But A-Rod, does CMC's black magic protect him from injury 2 years in a row, or was it Ayuk's magic? I'm willing to just believe that the German stem cell treatment is just that good. You know, like maybe there's some weird shit that we just can't quite explain, and maybe the stem cell stuff is truly a difference maker. But I don't think I would attribute it to Ayuk. I think CMC just was able to stay healthy. Pollard making it back feels like a gift, honestly. Pick 82 on Pollard, I'll take that. Rico already off the board, so in my rankings, I still have Pollard above Rico Dowdle, but this gives me 2 Tennessee Titans, a good bet on the Brian Daboll offense. That is a team I think is undervalued, so not bad correlation at all. They get the Steelers week 17, and with no Mike Tomlin, an offensive mind at head coach, maybe a pivot in the organization, could be not as good on defense this year. Do I do DraftKings Best Ball 2? I'm contemplating if I'm going to start to do that, because can definitely get some different type of content. Definitely worth taking a peek. Also, you could win 3 million instead of 2 million. So I am on the clock here. I think I'm just going to go Quentin Johnston. I think so. Definitely my highest ranked receiver here. And so far, we don't have a single quarterback, single tight end, not any onesie positions. But the receiver room's fucking loaded. There was never a chance we get Herbert on this team. Herbert went pick 73. Yo, I got 30% Herbert, so in round 7, I love it, but I'm not even taking Herbert that high. Interesting. Don't mind it. He gets the bring back with Herbert versus Rashee Rice. If he thought he was getting QJ, though, he was delusional. Not in my lobby. But the Jedi Loco, guess who's back? Back again. Jedi's back again. Laughed my ass off. Welcome in. Are you? I'm a guess your lightsaber color, Jedi. I'm a guess purple. You strike me as a Mace Windu purple on the saber. But let me know. Yeah, Francis, definitely. Yours is definitely red. But family soup to you, Whohames. Hitting me with the family soup yet again. At some point, you're going to have to specify which soup in question. Is it a soup of the day, a soup du jour, so to speak? Hope the family's well fed. But thank you for popping in. If anyone hasn't checked out Whohames, check him out on YouTube. Friend of the channel, awesome live streamer, goes live pretty much every day. It's pretty rare that Mr. Family Soup here is not live on YouTube. We also had Hartman's in the channel as well. Hartman has a YouTube channel as well. The handle is Hartman FF. It is not this same account, but Hartman has very sharp takes. He's drafting with us at the 104. He went Puka Bowers. Pickens Evans went with the Bucky Irving RB1 team. Boy. Also has Blake Corum, J.K. Dobbins. Jalen Hurts, unstacked, but that's tolerable. And then a Marvin Harrison, old Botox lips, according to Kurt Rambis, at pick 69. Check out his YouTube channel as well. Brooks and Gainwell off the board. Definitely two guys I like in this range. So glad I have Pollard as RB3. It's getting a little dry at running back. Not the team where I need receiver depth very much. So I was hopeful that Jared Goff would circle back. I don't get that. Kind of just want to scoop up. I'll go Bo Nix. I'll take Bo Nix, even unstacked. Fuck it. I don't have that much Bo Nix. I got a lot of Kyler Murray. And on this side of the board, maybe it's worth pulling up a Jalen Waddle in the 4th round at times. To get Bo Nix on this side of the board stacked up is definitely more valuable. So I'm warming up to Bo Nix as a better click. He's been falling lately, so I think he's solid. Thankfully, the Jordan Tyson drafter is going to be right after this pick. So Tyler Shuck's still on the board. Kyler's also there. I do think Kyler's better, but Shuck can run it as well. I believe in this offense. I also have Chris Olave. So I'll get this stack. We'll go Bo Nix, Tyler Shuck. Solid option. But Kyler, I do rank higher. So the Jefferson Addison drafter are going to get a little gift here. Happy that Montano, member of the channel, gets his double stack. He waited on quarterback, did not get sniped. He would have had Shuck with Tyson as a consolation prize, but I'm sure he's happier with the double stack on Kyler. Purple as fuck because I'm Thug Life and cool. Yeah, I had a feeling. The skeleton, bottom half of the face, not a basic light blue. And then the green one's fine, but you strike me as a purple for sure. Yeah. Yo, did George Lucas plan that all along for Mace Windu to be launched out of the window? That's can't just be strictly a coincidence. You got some sharp takes, Hames. You got some sharp takes. You might be pulling up a few randos here and there. You know, the Omar Cooper stan, the Emmett Johnson stan. Those are gonna mature. You know, you're not odd with your takes. You're just ahead of the crowd. You're just a little ahead of the pacing with some of the rookies. Sladen says, when in doubt, Kyle Pitts. Honestly, I'm pretty underweight on Kyle Pitts, man. I'm not actually taking very much Kyle Pitts. Even at this price, even at this discount, I still kind of think he's not that valuable. Hartman says, can zero running back work? Probably not this time. You can still piece it together. Mason as the fourth is a solid backstop there, but the Blake Corum Dobbins investment, little shaky. Good luck, but if Bucky does hit, one of the best prices at this point on Bucky. But thank you, Game Tight, for doing the Lord's work here. Smashing that like button. Dull takes. It's a good time on Hames channel. Really good time. And definitely drafts some good teams. He's earned the horns on Underdog, at least in that regard. Got the credibility. C-Rod falling. I'm willing to push it. I'm willing to see what happens here. Kind of gross, though. I think I'm going to just take Cam Ward. Because it definitely makes sense, and then you just never know what'll happen around the turn. I got Cardinal Tate. I got Tony Pollard. Definitely Cam Ward fits the team. And watch C-Rod still be on the board. Watch me still get one of these tight ends. I did not want Khalil Shakir. I have a good enough receiving core already. And then running back is just kind of like, am I willing to, just take the fall on C-Rod? And wow, Keaton Mitchell, 133 over C-Rod is kind of interesting. All right, Fiend, the double F Fiend, does take him. I also queued up Isaiah Likely. I have a little too much Goddard right now, so I'm going to go Isaiah Likely. Piecing it together with 3 tight ends is probably the strategy on this one. I feel like that's probably going to materialize if I had to guess. And starting off with Likely, elite spike week potential. Also might just have an insane role, especially if Neighbors misses time. So poised to be a good click, I think. Maybe not the most consistent option, but he can also deliver on like 140 yards receiving in a game. There's not that many tight ends that can be as electric and dominant as Isaiah Likely when the offense chooses to commit to him. Go back to that season with Andrews getting hurt down the stretch. He was a top 6 tight end down the stretch. He was fucking killing it. That was the same year Njoku had that awesome stretch with Joe Flacco. So he got a little overshadowed, and then last year he had the foot injury in training camp, so really didn't quite pay off. But in terms of true upside, I think Likely could definitely have more fantasy points this year than Mark Andrews. I could definitely see it over Dalton Kincaid. If Kittle misses a bunch of time, I could see that happen. And then straight up, I think Isaiah Likely versus Kyle Pitts is not insane. Likely over Ferguson, I think, is an interesting argument. But game type, yes, this is the pointer. We are indeed in the $11 contest. What's up, Olaf? How we doing? Hope you're having a good Wednesday evening. Hope everyone's chilling. But thanks for not sniping. You're welcome. It just didn't quite make sense. Kyler's also, at this point, like my second or third most drafted quarterback. So I've been willing to pump the brakes. I think he's a great click, even unstacked. You can get Juwan Jennings at the very least, which isn't the most exciting. I think you want Addison or definitely Jefferson. But even unstacked, Kyler's a fine click, but I have enough of him where getting the Tyler Shuck Olave stack was good enough. But I almost took Kyler over Bo Nix. I think he can outscore Bo Nix. But as Bo Nix starts to fall into this range, it's a valuable pocket, and I'm willing to just take Bo Nix there. All right, I am back on the clock. I think Brenton Strange is a good selection, but never know what's going to happen. Kind of similar to the Cam Ward decision. A lot of these picks I have in the same tier around the turn, and I'll just play it safe. I'll just grab my guy. Get the Tyler Shuck, Juwan Johnson stack. Juwan Johnson, extremely safe, extremely reliable, high target share, consistent production. A little better in full PPR, but still his weekly output, he hits double-digit points kind of often. So yardage, I like a lot. The Tyler Shuck, Juwan Johnson combo. Their chemistry goes back to college, back at Oregon. They were teammates back in college. Tyler Shuck, much older than some people realize. But all right, Brenton Strange circles back. So that's a really strong trio, if you ask me. I honestly like it a lot. I could go Trey Tucker based on the rankings. It's not a bad decision. The running backs aren't like really speaking to me too much, so it's a little thin, but I kind of always wanted 3 tight ends. I'm just realizing I got 2 week 8 buys, so let's be strong at the tight end spot. It feels like a position I'm more inclined to take 3 of this year, and yeah, I think it makes some sense. First 8 rounds, I don't take a single quarterback or tight end. Then I go triple quarterback in a row, rounds 9, 10, 11, and then rounds 12, 13, and 14, we go triple tight end. So 8 straight clicks that weren't the onesie, and then 6 straight clicks addressing the individual onesies. Nice little color palette we got going. We got a orange, green, orange, orange, green, orange, green, orange, purple, 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 blue, blue, blue. Nothing but orange and green down the stretch. I think 2 clicks at both running back and receiver. That is the way. I'm liking the 3-5-7-3 structure a lot these days. I think the 3 quarterbacks really help you advance in the pod. Not only that, gives you a little extra bullet in the chamber when you make the playoff structure. Always feels nice to have an extra option. Because at quarterback, sometimes you just don't know who's going to pop off. But tight end, definitely a position the league is starting to use a bit more. The Rams definitely setting the trend last year, and I think more teams will follow suit. So a few more 12 personnels, maybe even 13 personnels than expected, and these high-end pass catchers on their team should be valuable. I like the touchdown upside for Brenton Strange. I love the Jags passing game. Nobody else can compete with him for the tight end routes, so he'll be on the field a lot. Strange is a solid value, and love this pocket of tight end. I think it's really the sweet spot. Rounds 13 and 14. You can also include round 12. Kind of 11 as well, but especially the value in round 12. Love Kelsey. I like Andrews. I like Likely. I like Goddard. I like Gadsden. I like Okonkwo. I like Hunter Henry. I like Juwan Johnson. I also love Brenton Strange. Those tight ends, I think, are awesome. So down to RB wide receiver. Not a ton of stacking options remaining, but can't ignore running back for too long. I think Nick Singleton is kind of appealing, but I have Pollard, so I don't think I want to do that. Flournoy, a 9-pick fall. Fuck it. We'll go Ryan Flournoy on this. Solid player. A little contingent upside dependent, but who knows? Maybe CeeDee Lamb gets hurt again. Maybe Pickens goes down. Maybe he just has a breakout this year. Maybe he steps up in the Cowboys offense. So like Flournoy, especially if somebody gets hurt. But so far the team is looking pretty solid so far. I can't go Singleton because I have Pollard. So Emmett Johnson becomes interesting. I know he is the best backup in Kansas City. There's really no competition behind him. I'm not worried about Amari DiMercado or the ghost of Kareem Hunt. I will go Emmett Johnson here. And if Walker goes down like he typically does, Walker usually misses some time. Maybe not like more than 5 games, but still. I think we can get a few games where Emmett Johnson's just like clearly the RB1. And it's the Andy Reid system. The running back is usually valuable in that offense. So Emmett Johnson, the Chiefs handcuff. There was a time when I was drafting Emmett Johnson at like pick 110 back in February. I was in on Emmett Johnson. The talent, I think, is not worth fading. But the Jedi says, I'm ready for the next draft as fuck. Let's all hop in. A big dog. Nah, I definitely am not entering the big dog. Not tonight. Troy Franklin fits this team nicely. We could do the Candyman proud. Take his boy Troy Franklin. He was on the stream on Monday. Definitely hyping up Troy Franklin a little bit. So that isn't the worst idea. I'm trying to kind of play it with both Franklin and Pat Bryant, in all honesty. So I might mix in Bryant just because most recently I have taken Franklin. But with Bo Nix, could be a solid click either way. Are any of you guys ever drafting Evan Ingram? Is anyone taking Evan Ingram, or are you only taking Justin Jolie? Let me know. I'm definitely not taking it. I already have 3 tight ends, but I'm curious if anyone is willing to fall on the sword. But I realize we have not taken a rip yet. We're almost at pick 200, so let's take a rip from the pipe, shall we? It's about time. A-Rod has 1 share of Ingram. I think I have like 2 shares of Ingram and then maybe 1 share of Jolie. Yeah, it seems like when we're in on Ingram, he really shits the bed, and then when you write him off, he's like, oh, you forgot about me, motherfucker. Here I am. Hartman not taking either of them. Yeah, it's such a... Yeah, I'm right here. I think I have 2% Ingram. Maybe it's 1%. You know what? The 2% might be in pre-draft. I think I might be 0% in the regular season in terms of my drafting. That might be the case. Running back kind of close. I'm going to go Elijah Surratt. Pretty interesting bet. Don't have a... Oh, I do have Carnell Tate. I was about to say don't have a rookie, but don't have a risky rookie. Only Emmett Johnson. Tate kind of doesn't qualify because he's an Ohio State receiver. That's basically being a veteran. Marvin Harrison is the exception, but typically the Ohio State receiver is a veteran, even in college. But last pick, definitely running back. We're trusting Hampton. We got Jadarian Price, so not interested in Emmanuel Wilson, I think. I think I'm going to pass on Wilson. Pollard and Emmett Johnson. I'm going to take the gamble that James Conner gets released and has some value somewhere. You told me James Conner is a Detroit Lion. I could see it. You told me James Conner is a Green Bay Packer. I could see it. You told me James Conner is a Jaguar. If the Chris Rodriguez scenario is really that bad, I could maybe see that. There's not that many other places. He's not going to be released to go sign with the Seahawks, that's for sure. But I could see Connor be someone that we draft in August once we get some clarity. Might be worthless, could be a true zero, but I decided to risk it a little bit at running back here. We're really trusting the Hampton value, Price to deliver, and then Pollard to stay healthy. And then maybe I get lucky on Emmett Johnson. The running back room here is a little fragile, not going to lie. But the receiver room is extremely strong. The quarterback room has very good depth and is correlated enough. I could have definitely gone with Pat Bryant or Troy Franklin, but honestly, I felt a bit more compelled to go Surratt. I kind of just forgot about Bo Nix a little bit. And to be honest, some of Bo Nix's best games are when he doesn't need the stack. His rushing stats are the most critical aspect of his spike weeks. He can give you a 36-point week, and obviously it'd be nice to have Waddle alongside him, but he could also do that because he offers like 60 rushing yards and 2 rushing touchdowns. And the stack is just not that critical. So Bo Nix, Tyler Shuck, and Cam Ward. The Shuck and Cam Ward stacks are definitely there, but Hampton leading the charge. I hope Pollard really does pay off. We're kind of very dependent on Pollard a little bit, but Jadarian hopefully doesn't have a slow start, and hopefully he carries us. But receiver is great. Amon-Ra, Chris Olave, Tet McMillan, Carnell Tate, Quentin Johnston, Ryan Flournoy, Elijah Surratt. Really, really good with the top 5, and then Olave, Carnell Tate are stacked. And then tight end, balanced, but maybe not elite. That's kind of the thing. The quarterback and tight end room are deep, but they're not quite elite. A lot of draft capital in the middle of the board spent on those 2 positions. Hopefully it works out. We'll see. But Slayton says Mike Thomas / James Graham. Is this in regards to the Pat Bryant, Troy Franklin discussion? Has Sean Payton ever had a productive tight end? Definitely Jimmy Graham. That's kind of about it. But who is really a wide receiver pretending? Yeah, Jimmy Graham, very unique skill set. All right, let's take a look at the 4 teams in this lobby with me, and let's start with our boy here, Jackson Duffy, at pick 12. He got T-Law, Bryce Young, and Shador. Not the strongest quarterback room, but T-Law is pretty good. He's got James Cook, Chase Brown, Kyron, so the trip RB start with Tyrone Tracy, Keaton Mitchell at 133. Keaton Mitchell moving up the board in this contest. So pretty strong, really good with the trio, and then the depth is not too bad if the starters don't hit. But Neighbors at pick 37, worth the risk, I suppose. Roma Dunze, Brian Thomas, very legit. And then Chris Godwin, Xavier Worthy, Jalen Naylor, Judy, and A.D. Mitchell. Very strong receiver room with the tolerant risk on Neighbors. If Neighbors is just healthy, you're in great shape. But Fannin, Gunnar, Helm, an adequate tight end room definitely can get by with just that if Fannin delivers. 108 on Fannin definitely would have made that click as well. Not bad. Not bad at all. Good luck on T-Law, the stack with BTJ. Gonna need to carry you, but love his playoff schedule, especially the Commanders matchup week 17. So if you make it, that I think is a piece worth having. So thank you for drafting with us, Jackson. Good luck to you. And we also had DMH09, that's Hartman in the channel, in the chat, watching the channel. We got Jalen Hurts, Stroud, and Mendoza on this one. Bucky as the first running back. Corum, Dobbins, Mason. Also took Woody Marks and Zach Charbonnet, the gamble on Sharps. On occasion, it's worth it. A bit of a zero RB approach. Bucky in the 5th. Definitely starting off risky. These 2 might not be good enough to carry you, but Mason could save you. And then if you somehow thread the needle, Sharps could be the nuts when it matters most. But good luck there. Receiver and tight end going to be elite, though, with Puka, Pickens, Evans, Harrison, Higgins, Dontavian, and Jack Betch. Could be better. Honestly, could be better, but the Puka Pickens anchor feels great. Evans needs to stay healthy, but overall, still a very, very strong receiving room. Bowers, though, with Greg Dulcich, the cheap tight end 2, definitely the way to go. And then Bowers always makes a team feel good. So the starting lineup, if it can get Hurts to maintain top 3, top 5 production, you're all set. Running back, though, needs to thread the needle. Good luck, but maybe Bucky Irving is the click. I'm still not taking him that high. I will wait for him until like 57, 58, to be honest. Super Beast also in this lobby. We got Keith the Big Shooter, a member of the Blunt Rotation. We got Drake May, Tua Tagovailoa. A little risky. Also with the double week 11 bye. Good luck. Drake May can possibly finish high enough where it's fine, but Tua could also just miss a shit ton of games, and who knows. So a bagel week 11, not going to help. Not the best depth here, but good enough with May. You can talk yourself into it, and maybe Tua does play all 17 weeks. But Genty, Javante, David Montgomery, Kenneth Gainwell, Mike Washington, very, very strong running back room. No complaints there. A.J. Brown stacked, Terry McLaurin, DK Metcalf, and Pittman. So did you just get sniped on Rodgers? What happened with Rodgers? You passed on Rodgers at 151. That's a fair decision to make. For Hunter Henry, tight end 2. Little did you know, Montano says Rodgers is worth 153 and takes him. Doesn't let you get him. I don't know if I would have been wise enough to predict Rodgers not making it at 162. I probably would have pushed Rodgers myself on top of that. So, yeah, I get it. Unfortunately, the DK Metcalf, Michael Pittman gamble, not stacked up. So this team definitely would look better with the Rodgers, but just wasn't in the cards. Diggs, though, obviously a click I like. Happy with that. And then Shakir in the next round, that's pretty sweet. 10-pick fall on Shakir. The Bills receiver 2 at 138. That, on paper, sounds like a steal. Trey Tucker, though, at 162. Really nice value as well. And then Candyman's boy, Zachariah Branch at 175. A little reach, but paired up with Tua, totally legit. That's a $1 click. Who cares? Does have Kyle Pitts, 114. Not bad at all. Hunter Henry and Kate Otten. I'm sure in hindsight, Hunter Henry being Rodgers wouldn't be too bad, but that is actually your only stack with Drake May. So definitely the right click, 100% worth it. Just wasn't your day to get a double stacked Aaron Rodgers. Good luck. I think the late round pivot to Tua, a consolation prize, I understand. Bummer. That's the only problem about setting up Rodgers as the QB2. He goes so late that you might miss out on the entire good group of quarterbacks. Like, I kind of prefer Rodgers as the QB3 than the QB2. But 153, like Dean is saying, never saw Rodgers go that early. Unless you've watched Meg Schaup, then no, you've never seen Rodgers go that early. I'm not taking him that early, but this is ultimately where I think he should have been going all along. I'm still waiting to like 160, 165. I honestly haven't gotten Rodgers that often the last few weeks. I was taking him like crazy, and then now he's just not on the board anymore when I remember him. So it is what it is. Oh, you do have A.J. Brown. My bad. I missed that. Right. He doesn't wear the jersey. So I guess, yeah, you didn't need Hunter Henry as much. But I don't blame you for not taking Rodgers at 151. Don't blame you at all. All right, that's going to be it. I'm pretty sure that's everyone. Last I checked, that is everyone. Yeah. All right, we're going to hop into either a puppy or a field general. But the thing is, the field general is getting closer to fill. It's at 88%. Been moving quickly. Do you guys want a field general or a puppy? Which one? The $5 contest that's still only 40% full, or the $3 contest? It's a much different strategy, but almost 90% full. I'm kind of leaning Field General myself, but I'm going to leave it up to the chat. I'm going to let y'all decide. I'll give it a minute or so. If you're enjoying the draft and going to stick around for the second one, especially if you're trying to hop into the lobby, do me a favor, hit that like button for me. Really appreciate it. The free way to support the channel. Definitely much appreciated. Also, if you're enjoying and you've been here before but haven't subscribed yet, consider subscribing down below. If you'd like to support the channel even further, no pressure at all, but if you'd like a team review, anytime you draft with me, you can also become a member of the Blunt Rotation down below. Just a couple clicks, and absolutely goes a long way to keep this content churning out every day. We've been live streaming just about every day for the most part. On occasion, I take a break. I might take a break Friday or Saturday, not gonna lie, but on Sunday we're setting up a marathon draft to celebrate 10K, and we've got some guests lined up. Don't have the full schedule pinned down just yet, but I'll tease some guests in the near future. We have at least one guest that will be making their first appearance on Sunday. But finally, one quick promo for y'all. I promise not too much longer. If you're new, if you want to sign up for Underdog, you can get $50 in bonus funds using promo code BLUNT. Play 5, get 50. That's 2 Best Ball Manias on me after you play your first puppy using promo code BLUNT. You need to be a new customer. All the terms apply. You also get a first-time deposit match up to $1,000. Promo code BLUNT. Link is in the description. Check that out down below. But all right, let's check the votes. We got Jantara and Acevedo requesting a puppy. Dean says either, but literally everyone else says Field General, Field General, Field General. Definitely an FG for the win. So that's what we're going to do. I'll give y'all a little countdown, and we're going to hop into the Field General. I hope you're ready. Lock it in. We will be joining in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Nice job. Pretty quickly filled up. Good luck to y'all as well on the drafts. Which pick do I get? I picked pick 4. Not bad at all. Looks like Super Beast Keith pulled the 101. And I'm sure we got some friends and family in here. Francis the Sith at the 102. J-Rock the Party at the 103. Peyton the Legend Manning at the 105. Chad the Niner fan at the 106. I called it. Had a feeling you're in this one. Game Tight in here as well. I'm not sure about Dakota Tomasino, but if you're new, let me know. Might have just been one of the strays that got stuck in it. But Danimal also watching Legend of Zelda. Not sure about W Tootin 98, but I would imagine this guy's trying to get Baishal Tootin. Let's see if he takes him at 38, because he's not going to get him. Oh no, this is Superflex. Never mind. Who knows where Baishal Tootin will go. But Rocco Jamaica pulling up the caboose. Pretty much a loaded full house. At least 10 out of 12 are in this chat right now. So good luck, everyone. Cheers. I will take Lamar Jackson here at the 104. Only 2 of us will advance. Then 1 out of 8, 1 out of 6. The final has 646 people, but $100,000 to first place. The draft is underway. And at the 104, I get Lamar Jackson. We get the 4th pick. I'll take that as a sign. I will take another rip. So I have noticed that Lamar is kind of like officially falling to pick 4 these days. I'm not sure I agree with that, but I guess I kind of understand it. Kind of. Yeah, overflow, I'm sure that's also popping, but y'all let me down. There's no Justin Herbert in the first round. Come on, y'all can do better than that. Herbert deserves to be a first round pick in this format. He goes at the bookend, so he basically is, but pick 13 does not feel as appropriate. You got to steal to get Herbert in round 2. Berserker in at the 10. Good luck, bro. Legend of Zelda on the clock goes Jalen Hurts, and JSN gets the elite wide receiver on his team. All right, I'm going to try and write down all the team reviews that are locked in. We got Super Beast. Keith is a member. So the 101 I'm going to check out. Game Tight is a member. Sladen is not in this draft. Neither is Hartman. We just took him on the last one? Fuck it. I'll take him here as well. I'll go Amon-Ra back to back. Don't mind that. That may be all of the members. But I'll take a look at some other teams as well. Let me know in the comment section if you'd like a team review. FYI, I might only do this final draft. I did wake up early this morning, so I might need to get to bed before midnight tonight. Might only have time for 2 drafts. Not gonna lie. Sladen, I've taken May over Lamar a couple times. Time not always kind of running athletes. Lamar is a really good passer, though, unlike most. Lamar has really been stepping up in the passing game, that's for sure. I did not get Jared Goff to make it back. I was hopeful for Jared Goff. But quarterback position is drying up. We'll go Stafford today. I don't have a ton of Stafford, but Stafford was an MVP candidate last year. Definitely can score a lot of points, but he's a bit more consistently getting you 20 points, not really crushing with like a 30-point game. So for best ball, the spike week nature isn't like as great, but in Superflex, I need to advance and I need quarterback points. So I'll go Stafford today. Hopeful that I can get Devontae Adams on my team later. J-Rock, definitely. We'll set up J-Rock with a review. Francis the Sith has not drafted with us in a minute, so I think I'm going to give Francis a review. Dakota wanted the stack. Sorry about that. You are watching, Dakota. The snipe will get you. If you snipe someone, then they'll appear in the chat. It seems like. Yeah, Keith for sure. You got the blunt rotation lock for sure. Ben K, you think Travion Henderson takes more of a workload in New England or still more of a split share with Ramondre? The news on Travion is that he's been spending a shit ton of time in the pass protection practice reps. That's been what he's mainly focused on, if not exclusively been focusing on. That's what held him back last year. That's what kept him off the field. As long as he can prove it in pass protection, he will stay on the field because he's way more talented than Ramondre. They drafted him with a 2nd round pick after all, and he is not prone to fumbling, as is Ramondre. If anything, Trayvon's prone to giving you house calls. I think they want him on the field. He's way faster. He's way better. And even though they paid Ramondre a couple years ago, that was a different coaching staff than Vrabel. I don't think Ramondre has anything guaranteed. And if you look at Derrick Henry's experience in Tennessee, his rookie season wasn't that great either. You know, Derrick Henry had a slow start in Tennessee, and Vrabel unleashed him over time, but year one wasn't too great. So I am not going to panic. Definitely, I'm still pro Trayvon. I'm going to go Jeremiah Love because I need a running back. I don't feel great about... Actually, nah. I think I'd rather go Breece Hall over Jeremiah Love. I don't like either of them. But in a single game, their ability to really go off is higher than most running backs remaining. So the ceiling is the only reason it's worth it. And today I will make an investment in Breece Hall. For $3, it's a little bit more appealing than even a $5 puppy draft. But at some point, I'm going to need running backs. Let's go Breece today. The only reason I don't overdraft Lamar, says Slayton, is injury / new offensive concern. Though I much prefer the new Doyle regime. I would agree. The Declan Doyle addition, I think, is actually a potential upgrade over Todd Monken. It's still a new offense for the Ravens to learn on the fly. One thing I don't like, I'll say this. One reason to be a little worried about the Ravens, they lost their center. They lost Tyler Linderbaum. That is huge. He was by far the best free agent center. So to lose that, replace him with a lesser caliber player, you know, the O-line cannot be underestimated how valuable it is. So I fear that just a little bit. All right, I'm back on the clock. Running back, kind of my preferred direction. And in all honesty, I'm talking myself into Javonte Williams more and more by the day. 225 points last year. There's no competition. He got the contract to lock in the touches. I can't really envision a scenario where beyond injury, he loses ground in Dallas. Now, maybe the team sucks. Maybe Dak Prescott gets hurt. That's a different discussion. But assuming good health, you got to be optimistic about every player when evaluating their upside. Javonte had a bunch of 20-point games last year. Javonte, at the moment, doesn't really have a reason to be fading. Meanwhile, I just don't want Arizona very much. Jeremiah not only is a rookie in a bad offense, no quarterback at all right now. Right now, the quarterback is fucking Minshew. Brissett is not a guarantee to figure things out. I think he might have returned to camp recently, but like still, Brissett, who the fuck knows? So I don't want the Cardinals. I already took the Jets. I'm not dying to take both the Jets and Cardinals. Fuck that. Give me Javonte. Give me the Cowboys. Really good offense last year. And although they made some defensive upgrades still, I expect a lot of shootouts. I don't trust the Cowboys not to find themselves in shootouts. So give me the volume. I'll go Javonte. Even Kyron, I think I can talk myself out of versus Javonte. The Williams discussion is interesting, but Kyron does have Blake Corum. Javonte doesn't have a single backup being drafted. And it feels bust-proof. It feels injury exclusive to being a bust-proof pick. Rock Hard Castle says, dude sniped CeeDee Lamb. Yeah, Rocco Jamaica, you did not get your Dak Prescott combo. Bummer. That's a steep fall on CeeDee Lamb, though. Like, compared to where Amon-Ra and Jefferson went, Lamb at 35, I think, is a pretty strong click, especially with the Giants-Cowboys bring back. I think W. Tootin knows what they were doing. I don't blame him. I think typically you're never getting Lamb that late, unless I'm mistaken, but isn't that like an insane fall? Yeah, a 9-pick fall on CeeDee Lamb. I think it's fair to take him, but would have been fucking lit if you got him, Rocco. Bummer. I'd be upset too. Sladen, if we know one thing about Vrabel, it's that he doesn't honor previous commitments, so that should be bullish for Hendo. I believe as long as you keep committing to Travion year over year, inevitably it will be right. And this is pretty awesome. We get the Zay Flowers pick right at ADP, so not that unique ultimately. If it's exactly in line with ADP, then it's being set up quite often. But not everyone's going to have it. Most people will have it, and maybe it's not the stack you need, but in Baltimore, it feels like definitely the only stack that's really valuable. The Andrews one might hit on like maybe 11 touchdowns miraculously. He is a good red zone threat, but in terms of yardage, it's Flowers or bust, really. There's nobody else I trust for yardage other than Flowers. Had 1,200 last year. The yards are there. It's just a question of will the touchdowns be there as well. But when Flowers really goes off, he often goes over 100 yards. He's a high spike week guy if he can also pair that with a touchdown. But what's up, Anthony says, Sup, bro, Spurs lost. Taylor Swift won the game for New York. Makes me want to pick the Chiefs more. Chiefs will be relevant this season, but don't trust him. Speaking of Travion, let's trust him. Let's go for it. Let's go Travion. Pick 76. Minor discount, 5-pick fall. Not going to let him go to the Drake May drafter. Sorry, Chad. Appreciate you becoming a member. But I think after Bucky Irving, Travion is just the right click here. Wow, Pollard. Didn't expect him off the board at 77. He gets the Week 17 bring back the Titans versus Steelers, and then the Cam Ward stack. But interesting. That's a shocking decision, honestly, with Pollard at 77. With Quinshon Judkins off the board right after him, that's rather shocking. Not gonna lie. But to pass on Cleveland maybe is the right call. A little surprised, though. All right, Francis says, I still haven't figured out this style of draft. Any ideal builds? I think as long as you have 2 quarterbacks by the 4th round, I think you can make it work. But typically, I want to have at least 3 quarterbacks, excuse me. Definitely 3 quarterbacks minimum. And if you only have 3, then they all need to be starters that you can project for 17 weeks. Otherwise, if I'm trusting 2, I want a 4 quarterback build, maybe even 5 of them, depending on how cheap I spent draft capital there. But typically, I think the way I like to go about it, if I spent a lot on Lamar Jackson, give me a guy I can trust as the second, like Stafford, a potential MVP candidate again, and then I'll go with 2 backups, pretty cheap. I'll definitely take a gamble on guys that could just play if someone gets hurt. There's a lot more quarterbacks than you actually think are relevant year to year. So good to get some cheap guys there. Running backs are really valuable. That extra quarterback you can start is taken from the receivers you're eligible to start. So that is why receiver is much less valuable in this format. You only have to start 2 minimum per week. So you still want some good receivers. Having at least 6 that you can count on is definitely my favorite strategy. But I wouldn't overload on too many receiver picks early on because you can really fall behind at other positions that do become more valuable over the course of the draft. Chuba's on the board here. Not excited about it, but I don't have much Jalen Warren. I'm willing to take him. In all honesty, I'm willing to do that. And J-Rock the Party, apologies, man, but you only have 1 running back. I definitely envision you at least considering a double tap there, and I do think the position will fall off considerably once Warren comes off the board. So don't think Warren makes it back. I'm willing to gamble that some other guys I like make it back, and we'll see. But maybe I should have gone receiver there. The 4th running back before the 3rd receiver, not always that important, but receiver is always the position that falls. Receiver is way less coveted, so you can usually push it a little bit further than you think. I'm a Bills fan, says Sladen. I'm making fun of his general choices. I'm not sure if this is in regards to me, honestly. Like, I'm like faded as fuck right now. uh, uh, why did dude jump 12 spots to take Olave? I'm not sure. I'm on the clock though. Gotta lock in. I could go Tua here. It's not the worst pick, but I think grabbing BTJ is my favorite receiver by a mile. I'm gonna do that. I'll set that up. We did not get Devontae Adams. I would have had to take him where I took Travion, so it was never really part of the plan. Adams didn't fall far enough, but BTJ, wide receiver 3, and then Jalen Warren versus missing out on Brooks as wide receiver 4. I think I definitely made a decent call with Jalen Warren there. Solid floor play. I'm probably going to start drafting a little bit more Warren moving forward. I'm not in love with him. I'm still Rico Dowdle over Jalen Warren, but I don't think Warren is going to be like falling off a cliff unless he gets hurt. I still think he's probably going to have a minimum like 40% snap share, and odds are it's like 45% for most of the year. There's a chance Dowdle just really overperforms, but I think Warren is just good enough to stay on the field enough to be relevant, but not elite. And that receiving role is a bit more up for grabs. He wasn't as involved as Kenneth Gainwell was, though, last year. So maybe Rico Dowdle can also steal that job from him. We'll see. But not sure why Olave went so much higher. Ben saying, is Kyler Murray a definite starter, or do you think it's more to throw off other teams with game planning? I saw some weird report the other day that I think it was yesterday that Kyler threw some interceptions with first-team reps yesterday. Meanwhile, McCarthy had like 4 touchdowns, not a single interception. Something weird. Kyler had like 2 touchdowns, like 4 interceptions, something crazy. But ultimately, I think he will be the starter. I think, no doubt, Kyler will ultimately win the job. The upside's way, way higher if you can redeem Kyler Murray as opposed to trying to make J.J. McCarthy work after being such a terrible, terrible player last year. All right, I'm back on the clock. Kind of like the Tua decision. It doesn't feel that exciting. Shit. I'm close to running out of time, though. Honestly, these receivers, I think, are just misranked. And if Alec Pierce didn't have ankle surgery, then I might not feel as compelled to fade him. But at the moment, I'm willing to let him fall. I'm just going to take QJ because I do trust him in this range, and I definitely think he can hit my lineup more often. Give me a Charger. Not going to be upset with that, given I was on 5 seconds remaining on the clock. I just don't want to make an incorrect pick, and not convinced that Addison's more valuable than QJ, Cortland Sutton, Alec Pierce, probably in a similar market as QJ when it's all said and done, but at the moment the vibes are different, a little less exciting. So I'll go QJ, just because I'm more familiar and comfortable with taking a Charger. I need at least one Charger on every team. So there it is with QJ. Chad says, let everything fall to you last night. Joined the blunt rotation and still can't let Henderson get back to me. Sorry, man. Sorry. Shit. I'm going to go Jordan Mason. Hope I didn't snipe you again. Apologies on that. It's never intentional. It's always because I think it's the right pick, but Henderson was falling to me. I don't think Peyton, the legend Manning, would have passed on him himself. If he went Pollard over Hendo, that would have been wild. That would have been crazy. Yo, what's up, GAB? We did a pointer on the first one. Right now, we are actually in a field general. We're in the Superflex format. But Dean Johnson pointing out some guy has 5 running backs, 1 receiver. That would be Game Tight, who at the moment has 2 wideouts with Waddle and Tyson. Honestly, that's not bad at all. He's got Jaden Daniels, Deshaun Watson, Shedeur Sanders. So investing in the Browns running back room. Who knows? He might finish with 5 quarterbacks. Wouldn't be shocked. But the Bowers elite tight end paired with Taylor, Achane, Scadaboo, Swift, and Judkins. Very strong. He's pretty much done at running back the entire draft the rest of the way. I think Game Tight knows what he's doing. Game Tight takes some risks. Always interesting builds when Game Tight's in the lobby. And I'm willing to let him cook a little bit longer. It's in the slow cooker right now. The running back room got a nice crust, nice little Maillard reaction. Some extra flash with Bowers. But let him simmer in this pot a little bit longer. Let the draft develop. We will revisit Game Tight's team when it's all said and done. Yes, Young Moolah, I'm sure it didn't take you too long. I just took way too long to find you in the chat. Yo, shout out Young Moolah. He was live earlier today. If you haven't checked out Young Moolah, very fun live streamer, deserves your attention. Definitely give him a subscription if you have the time to check out his video. We got you doing another draft, says Christian. I think I got to call it. I actually woke up really early this morning. I was up at like 5:45. Honestly, I think I might pass. I'm getting a little tired in the eyes. All of the screen time kind of adding up. But all right, I am back on the clock. I could tolerate Kirk Cousins here. But Pearsall has really high upside. I'm going to go Pearsall, who was already at the top ADP, but wanted to think about it just a little bit longer. There's a chance I just end up getting Kirk Cousins on the way back. But Ricky Pearsall, 141 overall. I'm expecting Evans to miss some time again. He always has a hamstring injury. Now he's playing next to the substation. They have 2 international games. And Mike Evans is like 33 years old. So Evans going to miss some time. Ricky Pearsall should be on the field in 2 wide receiver sets. And in San Francisco, that's fucking valuable. So give me Ricky Pearsall here. Definitely going a little too late, if you ask me. And did fall, I think, in this lobby, if I'm not mistaken. Right? 5 picks. I mean, still, the receiver spot is really, really depreciated. Maybe a little too much. But Ricky Pearsall versus Khalil Shakir, that's kind of a big deal. So a bit of a tier break in terms of like true upside with the guy we just took. I mean, even just after Casey Concepcion, that's pretty lit. Golden off the board. I do like Golden, but yeah, one reason I was hopeful is that Cousins can make it back. But I also got to take tight end eventually. That's also a factor. And it's really starting to die out. You know what? Fuck it. We got Lamar. Let's just bet on that. Let's go Chigo Conquo, because if I don't hit tight end soon, it will fall off kind of swiftly. So would have been sweet to get Andrews, but I'm definitely Jordan Mason over Andrews right now. And Andrews went at 133. It was just never in the cards. But Chig Okonkwo, a very valuable piece. Pretty sweet. We end up sniping Game Tight, but he does have Bowers. It's not the end of the world. Game Tight needs receiver. I might have done Game Tight a favor to avoid the stack. But the stack is still valuable. It's still best ball, people. Getting the stack is still something you want. Yo, did I snipe you, Dakota, as well? I don't think so. You have T-Law. Oh, I took. Yo, Brian Thomas fell, brother. Brian Thomas fell. You should have taken Brian Thomas over Christian Watson. You get Parker Washington, man. You still get a decent stack. But, BTJ at 100 is a fucking steal. Fell 4 picks. You wanted him to fall another 4. He's going way too late, if you ask me. These lobbies are sharp. I don't expect to get the Charger stacks I want, so I just live with it. It is what it is. Olave, the run back for Bijan. Right. The Saints Falcons game is also a relevant thing to bet on. Yo, QJ, good pick. You wanted QJ to make it to you at pick 132, bro? Fuck that. Fuck that. Yo, maybe you just don't watch the channel enough. You're not safe with expecting a Charger to make it back to you in a lobby with me. Yo, I'm sniping everyone. Sorry. Sorry, but not sorry. Honestly, it's more entertaining. Omar Cooper's not bad. Who am I sniping with this pick? At this point, I'm just going to trust my gut, and we're just going to ruin someone's day. Okay, we just sniped Key. Super Beast. Not going to get Gino and Omar Cooper. Sorry, bro. No one's safe. No one is safe. Yes, Chad. Ultimately, I do remember where McDaniel comes from. Betting on the Shanahan system. Always a good bet. But Dean, if I didn't take Chig, you were going to do it. Yeah, the Jaden Daniels drafter, I'm sure, had the thought, but Dean was interested. Chig is a good click. Chig is another good click. I'm taking good clicks. That's the thing. At least I think so. I think I will get back in at tight end. I have 5 running backs, so none of them speak loudly enough to me. Other than Sean Tucker, that's really the only one I think is valuable here, but I'll go AJ Barner just because I need some depth. And I'm coming around a little bit on AJ Barner. I think he's a fine value because he can offer some legit touchdown production. AJ Barner can definitely hit your lineup like 7 times next year because the touchdowns might be that frequent. Barner's fine. I think Barner's more exciting than TJ Hawkinson, to be honest. Schultz gets a lot of volume, but not many touchdowns. Trusting Stroud in that category, not the best idea. And there's not that many tight ends remaining that can hit on like 9 touchdowns, like AJ Barner can. So I'll take Barner. The Darnold drafter, who, let's see, where was the Darnold drafter? Legend of Zelda already had Fannin and Goddard, so he goes Emmanuel Wilson. He had Shaheed and also JSN. He would have kind of overloaded the stack. Might have been willing to take him. Legend of Zelda might have wanted it, but I needed it. That's been the theme today. Rock Hard Castle says Tootin has Dart, but snipes Ferguson when likely was available. What a cuck. Tootin in this one. At the 11-11. Yeah, I think once you call them out for sniping you on Lamb, if he is watching, then he's just getting bitter. I think that's just the theme in this lobby. Everyone getting fucking sniped. Okay, Keith switched it to Sadiq. There you go. You still got someone, but not Omar, who I think might be more valuable. I think I like Omar Cooper a little bit more than Sadiq. Okay, coming back around, the tight end prices look to be the main direction here. We could go Nick Singleton. Next two teams only have 2 running backs, so you know what? Nah, I'm gonna pass. I think I'm just gonna go with Freiermuth. I think the floor, just locking up the volume. I feel pretty confident trusting Pat Freiermuth, honestly. For the price, I think he's one of the truly mispriced options. Last year, he was going in like the 130s, and then they signed Jonnu Smith. And then he went like undrafted, and he's basically only moved up like 2 rounds this year. Now, maybe you believe in Darnell Washington, but nobody drafts Washington enough for him to go in the top 216. So I still believe in Freiermuth, definitely the better talent, more consistent production historically. I still trust him. So unstacked, it's fine for the value. The volume's headed there. So Okonkwo, Barner, Freiermuth can definitely get away with that. I'm chilling like a villain. And did I snipe the Rodgers team? No, the Rodgers team passed. The Rodgers team did not take him. They went Gunnar Helm. So Peyton made his own bed, decided his own fate. Nothing wrong with that. All right. I might just take quarterback, but fuck it. We'll go Eli Stowers. I'm going to go with the 4th tight end on this team. I never take Stowers. But honestly, I think the build could tolerate it. And I think the receiver room is good enough. It's not critical to have a 7th wideout. I have Amon-Ra St. Brown, Zay Flowers, Brian Thomas Jr., Quentin Johnston, Ricky Pearsall, and Omar Cooper Jr. I think the receiving room is good enough. I have an unstacked Matthew Stafford, so maybe I should have gone Terrence Ferguson. But honestly, I was running out of time on the clock, and I don't have many Stowers teams. I got a shit ton of Goddard. Let's go Stowers today, just for the fun. But 3 clicks left. I think I'm planning a 4-6-6-4, to be completely honest with you. And I am hopeful that the last running back I want is still going to be there. I don't think he's getting picked, but I think I'll probably take my 3rd quarterback at pick 213. Anthony says, going to try and get in a draft with you tomorrow. Hopefully I was in the overflow yesterday with the 1st pick. Good luck, bro. Definitely would like to draft once again. But these lobbies have been filling quickly. There's only 12 spots, so it can be tough sometimes. May the luck be ever in your favor tomorrow. You let me have Cousins, and I still fucking passed. Did you have... You had Genty. You don't need to let me have anything, Keith, man. Fucking take what you want, man. I'm not letting anybody else have what they need. I'm not paying any regard to other people's fucking stats. Go ahead and snipe me, man. I'm fine with that. But Cousins, I think, will ultimately come off the field, and he's just not going to be the guy you need in the money weeks. So that is where I'm not dying to take him too much. He's a fine ADP, but I kind of just talk myself into him being a backup ultimately. And if that's the case, why not just take a bet on another backup, going much cheaper? But Dean says they paid Washington $20 million per career touchdown. Is that true? Which Washington? You talking about Parker Washington? Did they just pay Parker? Okay, hold on. I think I do need quarterback. I'm going to go Mariota today. Jaden Daniels gets hurt. Jaden Daniels comes off the field. Mariota usually gets some starts. And when you're playing the waiver wire, Mariota is not a bad option. Mariota can put up top 10 weeks because he does run the ball quite a bit. Not going to be elite all the time, but can definitely hit my lineup on occasion. I don't want to believe that Jaden Daniels is going to get hurt, but it has happened at least 2 games missed each of the last 2 seasons. So maybe it counts when it's most important. Maybe week 17, Mariota at Jacksonville might be a piece you need. Maybe, just maybe. The Jags were a good matchup for quarterbacks last season. Their secondary is not that scary. And that game could be a lot of garbage time, maybe a shootout as well. But running back here, maybe it will shock you, but I'm going to go Adam Randall. I'm a believer. I like Adam Randall's profile. He catches a lot of passes, a converted wide receiver, and I also have Lamar Jackson. So I think he can be the pass-catching running back. I think he can actually beat out Justice Hill potentially. If Hill is just not the same player, he had a big neck injury last season, maybe Adam Randall wins the job. Maybe Derrick Henry goes down and he also becomes a workhorse. Perhaps he has a bigger role on a weekly basis than we expect, because Derrick Henry at this age, you can definitely argue, can come off the field a little bit more. They definitely want to keep him healthy for the playoffs down the stretch. So who knows, maybe Adam Randall is a piece that's relevant. Most people are taking Justice Hill. He went off at 218, but in all honesty, the plan all along for this 6th RB, ever since I passed on Nick Singleton, has actually been to take Adam Randall, who, kind of like Emmett Johnson, might be in a really good spot. Kind of similar to Damon Claiborne, might be the RB3 that can pop. I like the profile, but Derrick Henry's a beast. He's also going to be like 32 years old. So not the worst bet. Grabbing the Ravens handcuff that goes a little bit less drafted. Also great skill set. Maybe Derrick Henry not going to play all 17 games. Mr. Castle saying my team is a fucking disaster. He just took Malachi Fields, Calvin Ridley. We'll take a look at Rock Hard Castle as well. I'm going to try and skim over at least everyone. But the first 4, we're going to check out Chad's team, Super Beast team, Game Types team, J-Rock, and Francis. Those 5 for sure. All right, so coming back around, I'm planning on my 4th quarterback. Not going to lie, I'll advertise it right now. If somebody else wants one, now's the time to take it, because it's the last round. But whoever you take, there's going to be at least one other option I'm going to be fine with. But very interesting. The team behind me at the 105 ended up with 6 quarterbacks. Holy shit. I've never taken 6. That feels a little much. Honestly, my favorite is Jameis. I mix in a Joe Milton every now and then, even a Jalen Milroe on occasion. I'll go Joe Milton today. Fuck it. Let's go Joe Milton. I'm starting to talk myself into Dak Prescott having a lot of injury risk, in all honesty. Dak scares me a little bit. Not saying he's a lock to go down, but if he does, that's definitely an interesting offense, really good weapons. And Milton has a fucking cannon. Can also run around. Milton has a really interesting skill set for fantasy football. So Jaden Daniels, Joe Milton can also fill in for Dak Prescott alongside Mariota in case Daniels goes down. So we'll see what happens, but interesting pick. Not the most common selection, that's for sure. Dean Johnson says Darnell Washington, 4 years, $40 million. Right, there's several Washingtons. He did just get paid. What was it, 2 days ago? Yeah, the tight end market's kind of weird. You know, like Cole Kmet gets paid like $13 million per year. And then they drafted Loveland. They didn't give a fuck about their commitment to Komet. So, as basically a sixth offensive lineman, he's developing in the passing game, but still not like the most excited to draft him. I'm still definitely pro Freiermuth, but I did grab Stowers. I did go a little luxury pick with the fourth tight end here. But Dean says, wasn't Randall personally picked by the GM or owner? Yes, if I'm not mistaken, he was a owner selection. So there might be a little extra motivation to get him on the field, but could also just be a really bad pick. There's a world where the owner just doesn't know what the fuck he's doing as well. Interesting. Yeah, very interesting. Francis got excited, kept drafting receivers. That's where you can get a little behind the eight ball. If you invest too heavily in receivers, sometimes you get stuck without some depth, especially at running back. It can cost you. So let's recap some teams here. Let's take a look. I mentioned we got a bunch of y'all in here, and then I'll also take a look at Rocco, Jamaica as well. So my team in totality of 4-6-4-4 out of the 4 slot. We get Lamar Jackson, Matthew Stafford, Mariota, and Joe Milton. Interesting pairing. The floor play with Stafford is kind of important. But Breece Hall, Javonte, Travion, Jalen Warren, Jordan Mason, Adam Randall. A little bit different than my typical running back room, but can definitely see this working out, especially if Breece Hall actually fucking hits. But not too bad. We get a few bringbacks as well. And Adam Randall, a sneaky stack with Lamar Jackson. Receiver, though, feels really, really strong, very complete, good depth overall. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Zay Flowers, BTJ, Quentin Johnston, Ricky Pearsall. Those 5 are fucking great. And then Omar Cooper, perhaps one of the most valuable rookies on the board. And then tight end is deep. We waited quite a bit, but really solid depth play here. Chigo Okonkwo, AJ Barner, Pat Freiermuth. And then Goddard is actually kind of injury prone. There is a scenario where Stowers actually does fucking crush. So I'm starting to pivot off of my Goddard exposure. I've drafted him a ton. And because of Stowers, his ADP just doesn't rise. Despite the A.J. Brown departure, Goddard is not a riser, apparently. So I started taking him like crazy. And now that he's just really affordable, I don't want to be completely overweight on Goddard. So mixing in Stowers a little bit. I'll still finish underweight on Stowers, but at least on this team, can tolerate the 4th tight end. I don't think it's bad. But could be a 0. I still think there's a world where Stowers is a really bad pick. I kind of wish I took Terrence Ferguson. Not going to lie. All right, so that's the team. No stack with Stafford. Perhaps not valuable enough in that context. But all right, a lot of friends and family. Let's take a look. We had Niners fan 05 who did join the blunt rotation this evening. Let's take a look at Niners fan Chad P in the house. Drake May, Mahomes, and Tua. Little 9-pick discount on Tua, not bad, but also could come off the field pretty early. Not bad, though, especially if he gets most of the starts. Hampton, Jeremiah at 54. He fell 12 picks in this one. Not surprising. I passed twice. Rico in this one, Sean Tucker, Nick Singleton, Kalen Black. Pretty balanced running back room, pretty solid. If the Sean Tucker hit does work out, you're in absolute business. These last 2, though, a bit risky. But then A.J. Brown, T. Higgins, Garrett Wilson, Xavier Worthy, Michael Wilson, Trey Harris, Ted Hurst, Olamide Zaccheaus. Perhaps one too many picks at receiver. I'm not sure you need Zaccheaus on this team. Receiver feels very strong with 7. So Zaccheaus feels kind of useless. Maybe one spike week, but not much more than that. I don't know about that. But Kelsey, Henry, and Gadsden, I believe these 2 are stacked up as well. So very nice. I like Gadsden as well. I would agree. Dean says Goddard contract 1 year, $7 million. They're not financially invested. It's also a contract season for him, though. a year to bet on himself, and he has popped without AJ Brown on the team. So I still trust Goddard, not gonna lie. The team is fun. I think a fourth quarterback could be tolerated. Wouldn't hate it. It's just the Zacchaeus click at 235. Yeah, I wouldn't mind a Jameis Winston. Not gonna lie. Instead of Zacchaeus. Zacchaeus does stack up though, but doesn't feel valuable. Not gonna lie. All right, we got a super chat in here. We got A-Rod coming in the underfill. Thank you for the donation, brother. Really appreciate it. You are too kind. We got quarterback with Daniels, Baker, and Shuck. So a solid quarterback room. No issue there. Javante Tootin, Rico and Gainwell, Rashad, Jaden Blue. The gamble on Blue, but a pretty good top 5. So on occasion, it's worth it. I'm actually pro Malik Davis over Jaden Blue, but last round, I assume you can make it work. St. Brown, Egbuka, Adams, McMillan in Tampa Bay. Definitely different than Carolina. And then Debo, Flournoy, Dell, Traylon Burks. Don't see that too often. It has crossed my mind to take him, not going to lie. But I haven't done it yet. In round 20, though, I guess it's a little bit more appealing. But then tight end with Likely, Henry, and Juwan Johnson. Very, very legit. Yeah, quarterback, tight end feels awesome. Receiver, a little shaky at times, but double stacked with Baker and then solid depth. Traylon Burks, though, that's off the page. And then Jaden Blue, kind of random, but running back feels great. Otherwise, really balanced. Love the team. I would give it, feels like an A-. Yeah, I'm leaning A-, honestly. The receiver room could be a little bit better, but if it's not A-, it's B+, only because there's Jaden Blue and Traylon Burks there. 2 tough clicks. But Keith, appreciate you. You were definitely in the queue for the team review. I think we are done with Niners fan, though. Let's take a look at Super Beast. Coming in with another super chat. Appreciate you very much, man. Super nice of you. We got Allen, Daniel Jones, and Geno Smith. Definitely solid. James Cook, Ashton Genty. That feels great. Kyle Monangai, Kenneth Gainwell, Dobbins, and Jonah Coleman. Very, very fair. 169 Coleman feels way better than where he goes in the other contest. 144, 141. Jonah Coleman, way, way too early for me. So it's okay. Dobbins is going to get hurt eventually. So good luck there. But he also has to compete with RJ Harvey. So I'm not in love with Coleman, but the top 5 feel very, very good. Not bad at all. Receiver, though, has Pickens, Lad McConkey, Alec Pierce, Khalil Shakir for the stack, Branch, A.D. Mitchell, yikes, and then Skylar Bell. Good luck with those last 2, but the top 5 can get it done. You only have to start 2 minimum, and with your running back room and quarterback room, that's probably the case. So no complaints with the receiver. It's fine, but I'm just never taking these 2. Not too often. Skylar at least is stacked, but I never take A.D. Mitchell. And then tight end, you also have 4, just like my team. You have Kincaid, Sadiq, Otten, and Colby Parkinson. Feels like a balanced enough approach. Kincaid is not good enough as the tight end 1 to make this a bad decision. I respect it for sure. Not bad at all. I don't think I would have taken Adonai, but I get why people like him. I wouldn't have taken Coleman either, probably. But those are the only 2 I don't like. Adonai does stack up with Geno, so does Sadiq, so it's justified. But how often is A.D. Mitchell actually going to be on the field contributing? I don't see him staying on the field too often. Not going to lie. Wide receiver 3 in New York. Not my favorite click, but that's nitpicking. Everything else feels okay. I think it checks out. All right. Thank you for the donation. I really appreciate it. So we've checked out Chad's team, Super Beast team, and then we also have Game Tight, who is a member. Let's prioritize the member. Next up, we got Game Tight. Jaden Daniels in a 4.583. Deshaun Watson, Shador, and Kirk Cousins. So faded quarterback wound up with Cousins at 151. Definitely worth it. Definitely might have needed him. That's for sure. Good luck with Daniels staying healthy. I took Mariota, so I am willing to bet against it on occasion. But Taylor, Achane, Scadaboo, Swift, and Judkins' elite running back room stopping at 5 is the right decision. Receiver, you still wound up with Waddle at wide receiver 1. This is definitely the format to be fading receiver and go in that direction. So I respect it. I think a good consolation prize and a 5-pick fall. Another 5-pick fall on Jordan Tyson, the breakout. I'm willing to believe in it. So not bad as number 2. Josh Downs, a great floor play, a lot of volume for him. And with Pierce getting hurt, with Pittman leaving, Downs feels like a very good click right now. 12 picks past ADP. Jalen Naylor is the 4th, though. Very risky. Boston, also pretty risky. Judy on top of that. You have a commitment to Cleveland, so I suppose, but feels gross. Gross as fuck. And then you have Flournoy, Darnell Mooney, just kind of hoping that someone gets hurt. Bit of a prayer with these last 5. But the type of format where you only need to start 2. You can get away with it. Not too bad. But tight end with Bowers, Ferguson, and Theo Johnson. Very legit. Super cheap, inexpensive tight ends. Paired with Bowers, always the right move. And if Theo does play more than people think, then he's much more valuable. He goes undrafted. A unique option for sure. So quarterback is gross in terms of depth. It's elite up top, however. And you have both Browns. So good luck with that. Not sure it's going to work out, but good luck with that. You might get like 3 usable games out of this double Cleveland combo. Like literally, you might get 2 games over 20 points with Shador, and then you might luck into a week 1 where Deshaun Watson actually plays well, and then never again. Like that's the risk you're taking. And then Cousins could also get benched by like week 5 if Mendoza's good enough. Like that's definitely on the table. So good luck with Jaden, gonna need it. And then tight end, these 2 clicks could also be worthless. Receiver's not the strongest. So yeah, risky, but running back is fucking awesome. Worth the risk. Definitely an interesting team for sure. So fun to be drafting with you, Game Tight, as always. Thank you for being a Blunt Rotation member. All right, we got a few more left. I'm going to take one last rip from the pipe, and then we're going to go a little rapid fire with the remaining team reviews. If you would like to smoke with me, now's your time. Okay. Rip. Appreciate you, Keith. Appreciate you big time. He was getting open last year, even as the wide receiver 1, a few weeks versus the opponent's top corners. He will always be single covered. I think Mitchell will have some spike weeks. Adonai, not my favorite click, but I understand why people like him. He did have some good games, but Garrett Wilson was off the field, so was everyone else. I mean, he didn't look vastly better than John Mechie. Like, he was better than John Mechie, I'll give you that, but he wasn't, like, insanely better than John Mechie. Ain't a soul believing in John Mechie this year. That's for sure. So, who knows? I don't like it. Not a fan of the Adonai click, but he was a top 50 overall pick. Got to give him that. Okay, let me take a look at Francis's team. Been a minute since we drafted with Francis. He was at the 102. He has Bo Nix, Jared Goff, CJ Stroud. A little mid, but can work. Definitely can work. Gibbs, Travis, Bucky, Sampson, and Justice Hill. Kind of risky, kind of thin at RB. The Bucky Irving price is either one of the best or worst clicks. And then you do have Gibbs, so you can tolerate some risk. It's not too bad, but only 5 in Superflex, not my favorite. Not my favorite build. I prefer a 6th, if not a 7th. Receiver has Tedero McMillan, Roma Dunze, Cortland Sutton. You do have the Sutton stack. You also got Makai Lemon, Romeo Dobbs, Jaden Higgins, Isaac Tesla stacked up, and Troy Franklin. You have Jaden Higgins also stacked up. And then tight end, only a Schultz stack, so not a ton of stacks on this one. You have Kraft, Schultz, and Njoku, and Evan Ingram. Wow, the rare Evan Ingram sighting. We did see it today in round 20. Shocker. That one wasn't expected. That's for sure. So could be a 0, could bounce back. We could all be wrong. Francis willing to pull the trigger. A bold play for sure. Running back, I think, is all right, but only because of Gibbs. Running back kind of scares me a little bit in terms of depth. I prefer to be overloaded more at running back as opposed to receiver. So that's where I might have drafted differently than you in this one. But you didn't reach on anyone, so it's fine. You have a lot of tight end investment, though. I might not have taken 4 tight ends. Might have grabbed a flyer with a 6th RB instead of Ingram. Might have been my choice. But the team is very fun. Team's interesting. If quarterback works out, you're in good shape. Good luck, Francis. I respect it. Jay rocked the party. Went with Brock Purdy, Kyler Murray, Jacoby Brissett, and Mac Jones. So the double Niner approach. All red shirts. And the quarterback room. The red shirt correlation. Not bad. Bijan Robinson, Chuba Hubbard, Jonathan Brooks, JCM, Chris Brooks, double Brooks, and Jaden Blue. So could have a few zeros on this team. Here's where I'm not that excited. While yes, you probably lock up the Panthers starter, what if they're both really mid? And what if neither of them hit? You are getting a 0 for sure with one of them. So I don't love the running back depth. With Bijan, you can maybe get away with it, but not my favorite approach at RB with the names you've chosen. The Chuba decision, not a fan. I like the Brooks choice, but just take one of the other, I think. And then this depth is not that exciting at all. So that's a weakness, but maybe it comes with some extra strengths. Olave, Evans, Addison, Wandale, Golden, Jawan, Stribling. Pretty solid, but more so balanced than like elite. Olave's good, but you did reach on him by 13 picks. The room did question the Olave decision. There was the Bijan bring back, but don't have Tyler Shuck. A bit of an odd decision. Trey McBride, TJ Hawkinson, and Greg Dulcich. Hope it works out for you, but the Olave and McBride combo, that's where some of the depth is kind of missing. Just a little bit of depth you would think might be higher, but maybe you're not that high on AJ Brown or Drake London. I would have just taken Drake London, honestly. I'm definitely London over Olave. I might be AJ Brown over London, but London at 46 would have made some more sense, if you ask me. Also wanted to take a look at Rocco Jamaica in here. Rock Hard Castle got upset. Started to crash out a little bit with some snipes. But he was at the bookend. You get sniped a lot at pick 12. Got to get weird. Got to get unique. Let's take a look. The 3-6-7-4, not bad. With Dak Prescott, Justin Herbert, Tyler Shuck. Good quarterback room for sure. Very, very strong. He did get sniped multiple times for a Dak Prescott pairing. No CeeDee Lamb, no Jake Ferguson. Only one click away as well. But Walker on this team, the bring back with Herbert. Montgomery, not a bad RB2. Corum RB3 with Keaton Mitchell, Katron, and Braylon Allen. So the depth falls off quickly. I think you're actually counting on Corum quite a bit. But receiver has Nico at a great price. Pick 61 is awesome. Terry McLaurin, also a discount. Receivers fell a lot in this one, for the most part. But Jaden Reed, a little pull-up, but fair decision. I like him as wide receiver 3. Then Antonio Williams. So quite a fall off, but could be a great option potentially. But you have Terry and Antonio Williams without Jaden Daniels. Not the most ideal. Jeremy, Malachi Fields, and Calvin Ridley. I like Jeremy, but these two are big gambles. Good luck there. And then 4 tight ends, despite having Tyler Warren, Likely, and Andrews. You also took Juwan Johnson, so expecting some flex contribution at a tight end. That's a fair approach, but I think if I'm going to go with 4, I'm not going to spend that much. I think I would have stopped at 3. Not going to lie. It's not bad, but like, I wouldn't mind it if you only had Likely, Andrews, and Juwan Johnson. I think it'd be pretty good. So you can obviously swap one of them out. But like, given how running back looks on this team, imagine if Tyler Warren... I guess the running back prices were terrible there. I don't blame you for taking Tyler Warren. What if... Yikes. Yeah, I think the room kind of punished you at running back, honestly. That's kind of my honest... Oh, no, you passed on Byshel Tootin for Nico Collins and Montgomery. I get the Collins click. Yeah. Bummer. Kind of a bummer. Tough breaks being at the 112. No wonder you got pissed. I'd have gotten pissed too. All right, but you were never getting QJ. I'll tell you that. QJ making it there, never going to happen. Lamb was falling like crazy. It would have been fucking insane had he made it. The Ferguson crash out, I think, was justified. For Rock Hard Castle to be upset about Ferguson, I think was legit. But Dakota asking, can I peep his at the end? Let's take a look at Dakota's. He was pick 8. I think I sniped him on BTJ. I think that that might have happened. But BTJ also fell. BTJ, a good click for sure. We got T-Law, Jordan Love, Malik Willis. Very legit. Perfectly fine with that. Kyron, Jadarian Price, Chris Rodriguez, not afraid. Actually pulled him up 9 picks. Not afraid of the foot injury. Isaiah Pacheco, at the moment, is the Lions RB2. So as long as that holds, it checks out. But I don't see much of a difference between him and Tank Bigsby, honestly. Emmett Johnson, also kind of in the same camp, a good handcuff that's clearly the number 2. And then Kamara could retire, but could also play. And then Marshawn Lloyd could finally break out. 24 picks past ADP. Not bad on Marshawn Lloyd. I think I sniped you on Matthew Stafford as well, so you were fucking right to be upset. Rashi Rice, Christian Watson, Parker Washington, you got that stack. Not BTJ, though. Right at ADP 104. Michael Pittman, Jacoby Myers, and Brandon Ayuk. Wow, the Ayuk click at 224. Not my cup of tea, but I guess it's late enough. Why the fuck not? But I still don't endorse it, honestly. We got Brenton Strange, Mike Gesicki, and Jake Ton, just a little thin at tight end. Not going to lie. Tight end's not that exciting. Receivers, good enough. The Ayuk click, maybe not necessary. Yeah, I think I would have gone 4 tight ends on this one instead of Ayuk. That, I think, is the only pivot. Because Gesicki could be worthless. Tonjes, probably worth being drafted, but with Strange as the number 1, I think the Gesicki randomness and then the Kittle situation. I think I want a fourth tight end, honestly. Ayuk feels really, really worthless. You have the elite anchor with Puka. You also have Rashi, so you're not needing too much more. And Myers at number 6, I think, is good enough to stop there. So that's my only pivot. Maybe go running back a little earlier, though. Maybe that's the only thing I can think of. Running back does dry out quickly in these 20-round drafts in Superflex. Game Tight also made a bit of an urgency play at the position. I also took 4 early. So running back kind of got... running back evaporated rather quickly. Once you hit pick 80, they were all pretty much gone. The best ones. So good luck, Dakota. For the most part, I think I would have made pretty much every click as well. I think the board made sense to you. The C-Rod decision right now could be problematic, but he could also be fine. Could be great. But well above ADP. You had to take a running back there, though. Definitely needed a running back. All right. We got a few more of y'all in here. And fuck it. I'm not doing a third draft, so I'll take a peek at everyone. Whether you're watching or not, Peyton Legend Manning took 6 quarterbacks. Ward, Mendoza, Rodgers, Fields, McCarthy, and Flacco. I think if you take McCarthy off of it, I like the team. But 6 is too many. I think you only need Flacco, not JJ. Running back, though, Henry, Pollard, Rashad, Algier, and Bigsby. Definitely can use another one, but could actually work out. Could possibly be enough, but I think you need another one. Definitely in a 20-rounder. I want another one. Jamar, Jefferson, Carnell Tate, DK Metcalf, Concepcion, Trey Tucker. Pretty legit. Fine stopping there for sure. Kittle, Helm, and Washington, not the best. Need Kittle to stay active. So, yeah, too many quarterbacks. Honestly, you can stop at 4, but at least make J.J. McCarthy something else. A.E. Gray says, what's up? First time joining your stream live. Been a fan for a while, though. Who do you prefer? BTJ, Alec Pierce, Jaden Reed, or Marvin Harrison Jr.? And then for running back, do you like Warren Stevenson or Pollard? So at running back, it's an easier call for me. I prefer Pollard. Then I would go Ramondre, then Warren. But Pollard for sure is my favorite running back of the 3. I think he's more locked into RB1. I don't believe Warren or Ramondre will keep the job. I think they're both going to lose it and cede some touches to Rico and Travion. So I'll go Pollard, then Ramondre, then Jalen Warren. When it comes to the receivers, though, a lot of good options here. My preference is BTJ. I believe in the breakout. It's not really a breakout. It's more of a bounce back. I trust BTJ. Much better scenario. Reports are that he's tearing it up in camp already, and that's not shocking. He had 1,200 yards as a rookie. Brian Thomas Jr. is definitely the Jags wide receiver 1. So he's my favorite there. Love him. Then I think I actually prefer a healthy Alec Pierce. If you can confirm that he's healthy, the ankle surgery is a little bit problematic, but he got paid too much for them to fade. I still think I like Alec Pierce enough. Jaden Reed, though, over Harrison Jr. I'm definitely last with the ranking on Harrison Jr. I think you ranked it in the right order. It's literally the order that you wrote it. BTJ, Alec Pierce, Jaden Reed, and Marvin Harrison Jr. Running back, though, give me Pollard. Yeah, I would agree, MacNova. The team is dead once you take the 6th. But might have already known that. I don't think it would have been dead with just Cam Ward, Mendoza, Rodgers, and Joe Flacco. I think Fields and McCarthy don't need to be on this team. That's my take on it, Mr. Peyton. But also going to take a look at Danimal. He's in a lot of these drafts, so let's take a look at Danimal. Joe Burrow, Baker Mayfield, Michael Penix. I would prefer a 4th when I have Michael Penix. But you might be correct. He also fell 19 picks. I understand it, but I think I would have taken a fourth, honestly. You have 8 running backs. Yeah, definitely take a fourth quarterback with 8 RBs. You have CMC, Josh Jacobs, Ramondre, B-Rob, Zach Charbonnet, Ray Davis, Kimani Vidal, and Ty Johnson. I don't think you need both Ray Davis and Ty Johnson. So one of these doesn't need to be here. Probably it's Ty Johnson. We got Drake London, Devontae Adams, Harrison, Godwin, Diggs, Jalen McMillan, and Cooper Kupp. Pretty fair. No major complaints other than Harrison. Not my favorite click. Who'd you pass on for Harrison? Jaden Reed. We just mentioned it. I ranked Jaden Reed over Harrison. I personally rank Quentin Johnson over Harrison. And even with the ankle surgery, I think I still actually prefer Alec Pierce over Marvin Harrison. So not my favorite decision there, but receiver did make sense. Not a bad decision. Did I miss something? Loveland and Kyle Pitts. Good tight end room. Very, very strong tight end room. For sure. Good luck, Danimal. I'll see you in a draft soon, I'm sure. But last person who let us know they were watching is Legend of Zelda. We got Jalen Hurts, Sam Darnold, and Bryce Young. Perfectly fine with that. Saquon, Aaron Jones, Tyrone Tracy. Emmanuel Wilson falls off very fast. The running back room is not that inspiring. Mike Washington, James Conner, and George Holani. We got a Holani boy sighting. Yikes. Connor might be your only saving grace. Connor might save this fucking team. But also, could be a 0. JSN, Devontae Smith, J-Mo, DJ Moore, Coker, Shaheed, and Brazzle Dazzle. Pretty solid. No complaints there. Tight end with Fannin, Goddard, and Michael Mayer. Don't see him too often, but I get it. I think structurally it made sense, the 3-7-7-3 for sure. Now, I would like a few better running backs. I think instead of Mayer, give me someone else, but everything checks out for the most part. I'm not going to push back on really anything other than perhaps George Holani, but Holani and Mayer rounds 19, 8, and 20. Who the fuck cares? And then I think that's it. Tootin is the only one that didn't say if they were drafting. So I don't think I missed anyone. I'm pretty sure we did every single team review, honestly. Did I look at Dakota? That might have been it. Yeah, let's take a look at Dakota. T-Law, Jordan Love, and Malik Willis. Kyron, Jadarian Price, Chris Rodriguez at 113. Oh, yeah, we did take a look at Dakota. My bad. All right, that's it. 11:55. Good omen on the clock. And is the bowl completely finished? It is not. So one final rip, and we're out of here. Cheers. And Danimal, it did get weird. Honestly, I like my team. I kind of like my chances a decent amount in that one. I'm not going to lie. Thank you, Sladen, for joining. Thank you, Hartman. Shout out Hartman's YouTube channel, Hartman FF. Definitely check him out. Give him a subscription. Who Hames is also watching. So is GAB for Life. Check them out as well. And, thank you, A-Rod and Keith, for the super chats. All right, peace out. Good night. I'll see y'all tomorrow.